The new NBA season is upon us, and I am excited to have basketball back in my life. To celebrate, I am going to give you my predictions for each conference's standings, as well as my MVP predictions. Let's get right into it. For the Eastern Conference, my prediction for the number one seed is the Boston Celtics. They were the dominant team of last year. I don't see any reason that they're going to take a step back. I don't expect a post-championship hangover. Championships can go one of two ways. Either one, the team can lose a little bit of their hunger, or the disease of more can set in and they take a step back, or they can look at it and go, hey, we now have definitive proof of concept. We have all the confidence in the world. We believe in ourselves. We have great chemistry. And I think that's what the Celtics are going to be. They're just too good not to have another great regular season. At number 2, I have the New York Knicks. To me, they are the clear favorites for the number 2 seed. They have a really talented starting five, and we all know that Tibbs doesn't believe in taking it easy in the regular season. The concerns are depth if any injuries happen to their starting lineup, which can happen when you have OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns in your starting lineup. Number 3 and 4, I group together because I think the 3 and 4 seeds are going to be the Indiana Pacers and the Orlando Magic. The Indiana Pacers are going to have an awesome offense. The Magic are going to have an awesome defense. They're both young, deep, energetic teams. I love Halliburton as an offensive engine for the Pacers, and I think Paolo Banchero is going to give just enough offense to the Magic to let them get a home court advantage in the first round. At the 5th seed, I have the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they had a great offseason, and when healthy, they could be incredible. But health concerns for Embiid and PG make me reluctant to think they'll finish higher. Tyrese Maxey, on the other hand, makes me reluctant to pick them any lower. He is a high-energy, high-positivity player that I love. At the 6th seed, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers. How much difference can another year of continuity on the court and a new coach in Kenny Atkinson make? I still fear that the whole is less than the sum of its parts, but they have a lot of talented players, and if they have injuries, it often gives them more defined roles that can help them in short stints in the regular season. For the play-in teams, I have at number 7 the Milwaukee Bucks. This team is aging, and while I like some of their offseason pickups around the fringes, particularly Gary Trent Jr., I think the team will just be as dependent as ever on Giannis to carry a big burden, and I don't think it's in their best interest to have him go all out in a regular season. I think it's time for him to take a page from Jimmy Butler's playbook and just worry about being ready to go in the postseason. Speaking of Butler, number 8, I have the Miami Heat. Heat culture, Butler, Adebayo, Spo, decent role players. It still looks like the Heat that makes deep playoff pushes, but for some reason it just doesn't feel like it. Butler in a contract year could be a great thing or the worst thing for Miami. I'm not sure exactly what this team hangs their hat on, as they look like they could be average on both ends of the court. At number 9, I have the Detroit Pistons. I am still a Cade believer. I have stock in Jalen Duren. I just like their young talent that they've collected, and to me, they are my pick for the team most likely to make a surprise leap this season. At number 10, I have the Atlanta Hawks. I am so uninspired by this team that feels to me like by far the worst of the teams with real playoff aspirations in the East. Number 11, the Toronto Raptors. I just don't know what Toronto is doing. I get the flyers they've taken on some young, distressed assets, but it seems like they committed to them awfully quickly. Scotty Barnes is their best player, but this doesn't look like a team that's built for Scotty Barnes. At number 12, the Chicago Bulls. I like the pickup Josh Giddey. I hope Lonzo Ball can get back to his former self. Zach LaVine is a very talented player who may be on his best I'm worth trading for behavior. I still think this team is not going to be very good. At number 13, the Charlotte Hornets. I'm not a LaMelo guy. I may be a Brandon Miller guy, but for now, the keys are in the hands of LaMelo, at least when he's on the court. Number 14, the Brooklyn Nets. About the best thing I can say for the Brooklyn Nets is I like watching Cam Johnson shoot, but I feel like I'm only going to get to see Cam Thomas shoot. That dude may break records for meaningless points. If you're into that sort of thing, I'm not. 15, the Washington Wizards. I can't imagine the appeal of watching this team play. My only curiosity is who might want to take Valanciunas off their hands, because I'm not sure what the point is of having him there. Now, those are my predictions for regular season finishes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is my ranking for potential playoff success. If we ignore those rankings and just went with the likelihood of winning the Eastern Conference Finals, I would go with number 1, Boston. Number 2, I would give it to the Sixers. Number 3, the Knicks. And number 4, the Bucks. I just don't trust the youth of Indy and Orlando, particularly Indy's defense and Orlando's offense, and I don't like their top guys as the best guys on a finals team yet. All right, let's talk Western Conference. For the number 1 seed, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were the top of the conference last year. They're still young and improving. They added Caruso and Hartenstein in the offseason. They should just be a regular season wins machine. At number 2, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not sweating the loss of Cat too much. I think they're still going to have an awesome defense. I think Naz Reid gives them a lot of what they lost in Cat. Ant continues his ascension to among the best players in the league. DiVincenzo will fit in perfectly. And I actually think Randall's being a little underrated as somebody who can help bolster the lineups when Ant sits. Number 3, the Denver Nuggets. Like most people, I haven't loved the talent that's gone out the door the past 2 off seasons, and I'm not sold on any of their young guys yet. But this team still has Nikola Jokic, and he still has Murray and Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. This is still a really good team, and I think they're being written off a little too quickly. Number 4, the Dallas Mavericks. Look, they're really good, but for a team that just made the finals, there's still a lot of uncertainty. How much will Luka care about the regular season? Will we get another dependable year from Kyrie? Can Derek Lively take a big step in year 2? How much does Clay have left in the tank? There's a lot of things I'm going to be curious to see this season with Dallas. Number 5, the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm probably a little too high on the Memphis bounce back bandwagon, but this team was trending up not long ago. Their roster may not have pieces that all fit together perfectly, but they just look like they're going to be a pain to play on any given random night. Number 6, the Phoenix Suns. Hey, they have point guards. Look, they just have too much talent to not be safely in the playoffs, and yet they just depend on a lot of guys who are likely to be in, let's just make it to the playoffs healthy mode. Number 7, the Sacramento Kings. While everybody else is watching the bounce back year from the Grizzlies, I'm looking for the redemption year from the Kings after not making the playoffs last season. I don't love their defensive outlook, I get that, but they're going to be fun on offense, and DeRozan is just going to make them that much tougher to guard. Number 8, the New Orleans Pelicans. They have a lot of interesting pieces. I put them on here because I just think they have so much talent, but I don't really like what this team is overall. Number 9, I have the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron and AD are still 2 of the highest ceiling players in the league. I just don't trust them getting there on enough nights throughout an 82-game season at this point in their careers. Number 10, the Golden State Warriors. It pains me to have a Steph team this low, and he was awesome in the Olympics. I just don't love the team that he has around him anymore. When your second best option on a given night is one of Kuminga, Podziemski, or Wiggins, I don't trust your offense. Number 11, the Houston Rockets. I should probably be even higher on this team, but I think they still have some things to figure out about their identity. And while they have a lot of promising talent, I still don't like their best guy against the best guy on any of the teams I have above them. Number 12, the San Antonio Spurs. Wemby is going to be awesome in year 2, and I like adding grown-ups to their lineup in CP and Harrison Barnes. They would be my favorite team to make a win-now trade at the deadline, like, say, Miami and Butler are at an impasse. Number 13, the Los Angeles Clippers. With PG gone and Kawhi perpetually sidelined, who's ready for the James Harden show in 2024? Not me. Number 14, the Utah Jazz. I like Markkanen, so I'm a little bummed he didn't find a better home for the season. They have a good coach, they've got some good talent, but they have every incentive to be at the top of the lottery by season's end, so this could be interesting. Number 15, the Portland Trail Blazers. They have a few interesting potential trade pieces, but that is the only chance anyone on this team is going to be playing any meaningful basketball this year, is if they get traded. Once again, if we ignore how I think they'll fare in the regular season and think only of their playoff chances to come out of the West, I rank them slightly differently. I rank them as number 1, still have the Thunder. Number 2, I like the Mavericks. I just like the high-end potential of their offense and their defense. Number 3, the Wolves. And number 4, the Nuggets. Let's quickly talk MVP rankings. We've seen the last couple of years has been the reemergence of the big man as MVP. I think this is going to be the year of the guards. That said, at number 1, I've got Luka Doncic. I think he's going to put up just unreal numbers, and it seems impossible that he wouldn't win an MVP at some point. At number 2, I've got SGA. I think he'll be the unquestioned best player on the best team in his conference. At number 3, I've got Anthony Edwards. I think he's going to be propelled there by the two-way brilliance of his game as one of the league's most exciting players. Number 4, I have Tyrese Halliburton. I think he'll be the assist leader and the engine behind one of the best offenses in the league. And number 5, I have Jalen Brunson, who is the face of the Knicks' success this season. Just like how I think the teams will finish in the regular season rankings doesn't mean that's how I think that they'll do in the playoffs. Just because I have these as my MVP candidates doesn't mean I think they are the best players in the league. For that conversation, I would still have Jokic at number 1. He's still the best at controlling the game. At number 2, I'd have Luka Doncic. He's the most unstoppable offensive force that we have. At number 3, I would have Giannis. He's still the freak. He's still a force on both ends. At number 4, I would have Anthony Edwards. I genuinely love how his athleticism serves him on both ends of the floor. And at number 5, I would have Jason Tatum. He's the guy who isn't the best at any one thing, but he has the least weaknesses of anybody in his game. Well, those are my predictions for the upcoming NBA season. I'd love to hear what you think. What are your predictions? What do you disagree with me about? Who do you think will be MVP? Who do you think will be in the finals? Let me know.